alive. Strike a pose. Look at her. She's so good at it. I can't
know, right?
Her face.
I like the. What about me? Am I good, sis?
You're amazing.
Thank you.
You are fabulous. Funny. Oh my goodness. So we've got a really good and interesting topic today. It's like our origins. The three of us are origins. And they were not in this life. Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah.
We were joking around before we started. We said, when we come on live, we'll just go like this. Like, not doing. Hi, Debbie. Hi, beautiful. I'm not seeing anybody else's comments yet. There we go. Hi, Jess.
Watching and working. Yes.
That's the best way to do it, right? Yeah. Pass the time if you can. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we are going to be looking at our past life origin. But to get started, I really wanted to talk about past lives in general. What do you guys think about past lives? Anybody?
Well, when it comes to past lives, like in general, I think that they can be useful in a lot of ways, other ways hindering, but they could be useful to help, of course, like we know, heal traumas, heal things we've carried over, give us hints and clues into things. I think it could hinder us in other ways by holding us back, or maybe becoming too obsessed or engulfed into our past lives that it really just shakes us up and kind of hinders our mindset, if that is making any sense.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
I think that I've been hearing a lot of stuff lately about there possibly being something like a trap. You know, I don't know if anyone has heard that. It's the trap of, you know, they say don't go to the light because you're automatically going to be reincarnated again and trapped in this whole cycle. And I don't really believe that, because to me it takes free will out of it. So I think that past lives are just a choice to like continue, you know, like maybe decide while we're waiting to incarnate what lessons we want to come back and learn on the earthly plane, whatever it is. But I just think that, you know, our existence is everywhere all at once, you know, like nothing is linear. So a past life could be just like a continuation of this consciousness, or it's just something that's going on maybe now. Because I also think, and Rochelle, you said it the other day, is that if we leave this existence, how do we know we won't go back and exist somewhere that we might be considered in the past, you know? So I just don't believe in the whole trap thing. I think that means for some reason that we lose free will, and no, you have free will if you want it. You just got it.
Right. Can I add to that? Because like I was thinking as you were talking about that, like I completely agree. And the way I perceive that is very close to you guys when we've talked about that. But I also think like when we do these experiences we call lives, you know, we know time truly don't exist, but when we do, I almost kind of look at them as like a game of experience.
Yeah.
Like, I think that we're co-creators. We create these systematic matrices for a purpose, and we have the will to come here and experience that. So to me, it's kind of like we were on a higher realm somewhere, and us with Source is like, oh, we're going to experience the Roman times, you know, we're going to experience this time. And we put ourselves in all these different little matrices or multiverse, however you want to, you know, comprehend that. or look at it, and it's all for our soul's advancement and to experience.
Yep.
Yes.
So I already actually wrote about past life. I showed you ladies. This is a page out of my book of secrets. I want to just read it to you because it pretty much explains what I think of that. And I just want to mention that the word past life, the Chaldean number value is 33, which is like the ultimate like creator, you know.
Cool.
And the Pythagorean number value is 7. So I thought that was interesting. But
It is.
so this is out of my, I'm just reading it so you guys can see it. The book's not done yet. If it ever gets done, don't say that, Michelle, knock on wood. So past lives are other existences that we have chose to write for ourselves with different lessons and experiences. These can be seen as past lives in the matrix because we are bound by the time constraints in this reality. In truth, these past lives are all being experienced in the now. I believe that our soul is much larger and has many more facets to it than what we can easily perceive. In this book of secrets, the soul resides in many different vessels at the same time, like drops of water in the ocean. We are many. Each existence is a different expression of the whole that feeds back their experience to the soul, also known as the oversoul. These different expressions can seep and merge experiences into our unconscious. Now, all of a sudden, I have like phlegm, right? What am I not supposed to be talking about this stuff? Who knows? These different expressions can seep and merge experiences into our unconscious. Sometimes we can remember these experiences in our conscious minds as well. These experiences can cause blockages and attachments and even awakenings in our current lives. These can be felt in our spiritual, emotional, and physical bodies. Doing past life work can help us to remove these blockages and help us understand our own shadows. This can be done through divination, regression, and quite possibly dream work. So, if you receive this card today, you are being asked to take a closer look at the various ways to explore your past lives. Something that you are currently dealing with is rooted in a past life experience or trauma. Do you have some sort of chronic illness or disease that seems to flare up with certain kinds of stress? That can be related to past life too. I truly believe that.
Yeah.
Perhaps you are experiencing pain in your body somewhere recently that you hadn't noticed before. So let's say in a past life, when you turned 33 or at the age of 33, you got like shot here. And then all of a sudden, when you turn 33 and that anniversary date, your pain body kicks in and you start having like phantom pain. I
Wow.
think stuff like that can be seen from or experienced from a past life, something or other. People have fear or they have this knowledge or they think that, well, I'm going to die when I'm this age. Why is it? Is it because in a past life you died at a certain age
Oh,
and you're
yeah.
replaying that shit over and
Yep.
over again? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, do you experience any unreasonable fear around something or someone? Do you have a fear of like the ocean or, like you, Carla? You said you
Oh.
know that you were eaten by a shark, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, you know, have you recently met someone new that you instantly clicked with or instantly felt something off by their energy,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then
Mm-hmm.
I do have a spread in here also, but if we later we can get into that if we want to, but that's what I think about past lives. I think that they're all happening simultaneously. We just don't realize it.
Yes. That was so beautifully written too.
Yes.
Thank you.
You did amazing. Wow. Like, best description.
I agree. I love it, Sissy. Yep.
Thank you. So I want to get into our origins. That's pretty big. But before I do that, we experienced recently someone that passed. Carla and I were talking about this. My mother's husband, our stepdad, just passed away like what, a week ago? Carla? What day was it? Oh, it was
was on a,
August 1st.
yeah,
It
it
was
was
August 1st. It was
Friday.
on Lamas when he passed.
Hmm.
But here's the thing. He had been in hospice for what,
8,
8 or 9 days,
yeah.
and he had not drank or ate in like 8 days. And they say that the human body can't go without water for like 3 days.
Yeah.
Right.
Finally, there towards the end, my mom told him, because he was hanging on and hanging on and hanging on. My mom was going back and forth every single day. She said he was starting to
Smell
smell
like
like his body was already decaying, but
uh-huh.
he was hanging on. So the human spirit is so friggin' strong. Until she told him, she said she had to lean down and tell him, Earl, you need to go. Whatever you're holding on to, it's time to go. Your body is literally, and she said, she told him, your body is rotting.
Hmm.
It's time for you to go. And then that's when he passed. Like a couple hours after that, he passed.
Yep. It's really interesting to me because the whole what you said about the spirit and hanging on. Um, I had a friend pass, Johnny, who his spirit was so ready to leave that it left the minute that he went into a coma. His spirit left. Now, obviously, his body was still alive, so he was tethered. But then there's, like my ex husband and like our stepdad, they weren't ready to leave. I feel like they had to be, come on, let's go.
Well, Carla, tell him about Eddie and what you've seen on him.
Well, there is a stage at death where where you start to see like the blotchy, where everything starts breaking down.
Modeling.
Yes. Well, 30 minutes before Ed passed, we were standing by him. My daughter Faith was on one side and I was on the other, and he didn't have a shirt on. He did have those little things monitoring his heartbeat and stuff like that. Um, but we saw 3 imprints on the shoulder and they looked like fingerprints, and they appeared without touching him. Nobody was touching him. And I'm looking at Faith, I'm going, and she was like, and the rest of the other girls they were oblivious, but
They couldn't see it.
yeah. Yeah.
Carla, what do you think that was?
Well, he was afraid. He didn't want to leave. He was not ready. And I think that he was helped. And it did feel like we were in a birthing room. It really did feel like that.
Like he was going directly into another life.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
And the dreams that when I dream of him, he's in another, it's always different, but yeah, he's on a different timeline totally. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Been around a lot of people, taking care of a lot of people who have died, and same thing. And a lot of them always express seeing something, or it's really amazing.
Mm-hmm. It
We have a
is.
bunch of ladies in here, guys. Let's go through and say hi really quick. We've got Debbie. We said hi, Debbie. We've got Hillary and Jess. We've got Lady Blind Wolf. We've got Amber. Thank you, ladies. We've got Phoenix Fire. We've got Marissa, Miss Marzipan. Let's see who else. Oh, we've got Selena. We've got Fatima. And I think that's all. If I missed you, I apologize. You guys are
Lindy.
already talking. Oh, Sacred Journeys, Willow Night Owl. Hello. And all right, I'm caught back up. So, Courtney, I know you've been around a lot of this kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Um,
We had a lot of patients, in the medical field, especially in nursing homes, their family isn't around. How? But their families often aren't around, or they don't have any left. There's many different scenarios, but often when I knew someone was going to pass, I would sit there with them even through my lunch if they didn't have family, and hold their hand. And there's times I would lean down and tell them, you know, it's okay to go. You know, I'm with you. And they'd go soon after that. And I always talk about the most amazing experience I had was with this elderly man, which I've seen them talk before about like seeing things, you know, deceased loved ones and such, or angels. But this one man, he's laying there, I'm holding his hand, and his eyes just go really wide, and he's going, "Oh, wow. Oh, wow." And I'm like, "What is it? What do you see?" And he's just, "Oh, wow." And then he went shortly after. And I was just like, and there's this moment, you know, when they take that last breath, like you feel the spirit. You
Mm-hmm.
know they're no longer there. Like you know something else exists. Like if you've ever been in that experience and you watch them take their last breath, you feel it. You know
Oh.
that spirit's real.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I remember my great grandma Ames when she passed. Before she passed, like a few days before she passed, she was seeing like other loved ones, and she was saying, "Oh my gosh, so and so is here, so and so is here," right? Um, my uncle Charles Lynn, before he passed, my mom said that he just kept on staring up, and she got down on the bed with him, really close brother and sister. She got down on the bed with him, and she goes, "Charles, what do you see?" And he goes, "Nothing, Susan." She goes, "Come on, I know better. I know you're seeing stuff." He goes, "Don't worry about it." We asked Earl the same thing, whether or not he could see anything. And he's just like smiling. He goes, "No." I think they're not really supposed to tell us, is what I think. Unless they're like totally like in a different, like out of their mind kind of thing, then they'll say like different names and stuff like that. But in general, no, I don't think they're supposed to tell us.
My grandmother did once. So she had an instance where she almost passed on us. And when we thought it was about to be the end for her, she saw my grandpa Terry, the love of her life. He drowned trying to save her son. They both ended up drowning, which we believe that my son Josh could possibly, he swears he is my Uncle Dan. He's
I,
afraid of water and he thinks he's going to pass young even in this life. I think it's carried over, like you said in your
Oh.
book.
yeah.
Mm.
And I try to work with him with that. But yeah, she said, she was like, "It's Grandpa Terry. It's Terry. He's here. He's right there. He's right there." Sherry was telling my mom, and we're looking, and I'm like, I can feel him, you know, but I couldn't see him. But that was the only time I've ever heard anyone say like an actual name. But Grandma too had abilities. So, you know, she was very in touch with all that. So it could have been maybe that was the difference.
Right, right. Um, I don't know if you want to talk about this, Courtney. I know you also have an ability that allows you or has allowed you to see the process from them.
Yes.
I didn't know
Yeah,
whether or not you wanted to talk about that.
I can. When I go to, say, a house, I've done this before, even with like a paranormal team in Rome, and I go to do a reading on a property or for somebody, or if I'm holding their hand as they're passing, they can show me and I feel their death process through me. If I read for a spirit in a house, like say they, just an example, were hit in the head, you know, I can feel the pressure in my head, and then this feeling will wash over me, almost like I too am kind of rushing and leaving my body. It's almost like a roller coaster feeling type of ride the moment they go through it, but I can feel the pain. I can feel a lot of their emotions through that. And it's quite intense. It's one reason why I'm a little hesitant when I do, you know, like deep medium type readings with spirits and such, because you can feel all that.
That's intense.
Yeah, it is big time. Wow.
when I was holding a lot of their hands, I could just feel that energy between us. And I always knew they were going to pass. And I could tell you down, if I'm around them, I can tell you down to the day, time, how many hours they have. There's times I'd look at patients, they'd be fine. And I'd be like, we need to watch them. And they're like, they're fine. You know, everything's fine. And then lo and behold, a couple days later, they decline. And it's like I can smell death before it comes.
Yeah.
Wow, you do too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It smells like old blood. Mm-hmm.
It's like a almost starting to decay smell for me.
Yes.
Like it ain't quite got to that very, yeah, but you can
Mhm.
smell that, like, oh, death's near.
Yep.
I wonder if that's what Mom was smelling.
Oh, it's possible.
Or do you think that it was actually, I mean, maybe it was a little bit of both.
I don't know.
Sometimes it's
Been
normal.
alive after 8 days of no water, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's because he had like congestive heart failure and his body just kept on filling up all of his organs with fluid. So it kept on taking that fluid, right?
Yeah.
That's
There's
horrible.
certain floors in the hospital that have that smell, and that's the smell. You know,
Yes.
yeah, and it's really pungent. You can't miss it. So,
You know the smell of death once you've smelled it.
mm-hmm.
So Amber says, the death smells like vomit. It comes from the throat area for me. That's how it comes across. Wow. And Selena said, I smell blood, taste it, get the pains, the headache. It's overwhelming. Wow.
It makes sense. When the girls' grandpa passed, my brother-in-law was in the living room with him. And granted, he did not see anything. You know, he was with the girls' grandpa when he passed. But he said later that evening, he dreamt of the same thing all over again. But he saw Papa like get up out of his body and meet Peggy, his wife, who had passed before him, and a couple other people were there to get him. And I said, in my opinion, I said, you are recalling. So the subconscious, I think, is going to communicate with us differently no matter what it is, but that's, you know, it triggers that. So you're not really physically smelling it, it's your subconscious is giving you that message. So to me, that absolutely makes sense. It's going to be a little bit different for everybody. It's just for me, I equate death with certain smells in the hospital, or, you know, I mean, I know that people have died, and so, and that's the smell for me. So to me, I think it will probably be different.
So both of you ladies, as well as myself, believe that we are living all of our lives simultaneously, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then what do you think an actual past life is? Carly, you and I were talking about this earlier. I think it's a frequency, like tuning in to a frequency, like on a radio dial, right?
Yeah.
So, do you want to know one of my theories?
Of
I
course.
think that it is definitely simultaneous and definitely frequency, and the one we're tapping into. You know, that whole concept, NPCs, you know, I don't know if we may have multiple fragmented existence. I believe that can be the case, like you said, drops, you know, of the whole. Or maybe some of them are kind of on an auto mode unless we tuned into that frequency. And maybe that's where we get the backdrop people or this concept of NPCs until we tap into that frequency and give it life through our consciousness.
Could we possibly be a spirit guide for somebody else in their reality? So would we come off like as maybe a shadow person? Because here is also Jess said about 3 hours before mom passed away, I saw a few shadow people in my room. I should have known.
You watched that Dark Matter, right?
Oh, yes.
So imagine, I mean, and even in you know, the hero DC and Marvel, when they're doing the multiverse, you know, there's certain timelines that they go to that say, you know, that hero passed long before, so when they get there they don't exist anymore. So, and then we also know that, like, sometimes if we see a ghost, it could be somebody that's astral traveling. So
Right.
there's
I
so
think
many instances that anything would make sense. And if we're overlapping in a say an alternate timeline or anything, I think that what you said is entirely possible.
And could you also be like one of your existences could be on a different planet, another one could be in a different dimension, not just a parallel timeline in 3D, but 4D, 5D, 6. You could be essentially like the person that is your spirit guide that's talking down and helping you from a different existence.
Yes.
That's what I feel like I have, is my higher self in a different, that is, it's hard to explain.
No,
Even
I
maybe
get
like
it.
a future
I
self.
get it. Mm-hmm.
Yes,
So-
I agree. I've even wondered if part of the mystery of all this merging stuff and symbolism in the occult is like the higher realm, our higher self, and it feeds us down, you know, guides us. And if we align that, then will that one align with the one above, and so on and so forth? And is that what Christ consciousness is? I've questioned this.
Amber says, I'm diagnosed with multiple personalities, and I found each of my past / parallel lives is actually one of my alters or others. Oh my God. Yes. Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And that makes sense, Courtney, because if we think about, you know, if we are all each other, like Amber said, and I think that that is correct. I believe that, because we are all connected through that Christ consciousness. That means that the subconscious is, you know, it's always aware, it's always watching. So, you know, it doesn't take a break. So our conscious might go to sleep, but the subconscious is still awake. And if we are experiencing someone else's consciousness, or we're really tapped in, say it's even maybe somebody is a beacon and saying, I need guidance right now, and we're like, we're there. So we know everything because we're tapping in. We know everything. And we might be experiencing their consciousness through their eyes.
I believe that 100%. And I always use kind of video games as a reference. So I would be the higher self. My character would be the third dimension me. I'm kind of, you know, manipulating, you know, a little bit, even though they're on their journey and perceiving it through their eyes. So I kind of use that as an example to put into perspective for people to kind of understand.
So Amber says, hell yes. One of my selves is in a void space. One is in the upper world, one in the lower, one in deep ocean space. I feel nuts getting visions from them, but I've always accepted them in. Hell yes. See, others would say that that is crazy, right?
Right.
You're in the right place, honey, because we don't think that's crazy. Okay? Not at all. I don't. I think that explains a lot, actually.
Yes, I've always said that I think what she said she was diagnosed with, or some of these things, really can have spiritual explanations to them. And if we incorporated spiritual work into like psychology, well, you know, it'd be beautiful.
Yes, absolutely.
You can be a mom, a daughter, a sister, a wife, an aunt, a grandma, all at the same time. So why not multiple life streams, you know, that are connected spiritually somehow? Absolutely. I mean, the truth of the matter is we all have our concepts. We all have our theories. None of us truly, truly knows until we do, right?
Right.
Right.
Until we do.
Yeah.
So the possibilities are endless, and we probably aren't even fathoming the truth of it all. We probably
Right.
don't
Right.
even.
Yeah.
But I love pondering it, right?
But we can see how
Yeah.
powerful we are in this existence. So why wouldn't that spirit be? I mean, without the body as the shell that is like keeping it tethered to this moment in time, once that's gone, we will be experiencing everything.
Yes. I once was meditating and like getting some of these images in. I think I told you guys about it, but what you're explaining reminds me of this. It was like I saw infinite of like all possibilities, and that every second of our lives, it's like it's put together almost like a frame, right? Like a movie reel, but so quick we can't perceive it because every second we're pulling from these endless possibilities.
Mhm.
Like
Make.
flashing before your eyes kind of thing.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
And we're pulling from the void, from the infinite, and making it this.
Yes. The Christ consciousness is a lesson of love. The best definition of love I've ever heard is your well being is my well being, your pain is my pain. True and total empathy and being one.
Right on.
Yeah. I
Right.
love that. I think when you first see a child born and when you look into the eyes of that child holds the true meaning of unconditional love, which is the closest to the spirit as we are, I think, in our physical. Because then as we grow, then conditions get put on love.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. I believe that fully.
Me too.
Yes.
So, do you want to get into our? We have talked about
Do it.
like past lives, guys. Okay, and I've said Carla and myself. We just did our first mystical. Stop it! It's Oliver. Mystical misfits, right? And we talked about how gosh, I lost my train of thought. God, I hate it.
Mystical misfits, and you were talking about.
Yeah. I don't know. It'll come back to me.
Like, what?
Guys.
I've been going back and forth between too many dimensions. My head. All right. But right. Now I remember. See?
Love it.
When you're doing past life work, if you're always like somebody that is always like famous or always the victim and you don't see your own role in these things, what the hell are you doing past lives for? Okay.
Right.
Seriously. You're still here. You haven't learned your. This is just my belief, though. I mean, you can believe what you want to believe, right? But I do past life work because I want to integrate the parts of me that need healing so that I can move on because I want to be done with this place. Okay. I want to graduate, so to speak. That's the way I see things spiritually. So in this life, I think quite possibly, you guys, we were not good.
I don't think we were.
No. So wait till you hear some of this.
There were a few lives I apparently was not good in.
Same.
AOL dial-up noise.
Yeah.
Once
That's
you
about
hear that,
it,
you'll
okay?
never forget it.
I remember it well. Yeah.
You've got mail, right?
Oh my
You've
gosh.
got mail.
Yeah.
Yes. 10 minutes later, we're online.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Yahoo chat rooms, and that's about the extent of like online, right?
ASL.
Yep. Yeah, I wrote a song about that. Mm-hmm.
One video on YouTube would take like 10, 15 minutes to buffer. You could not get through one
Oh,
video.
Yeah.
I've heard a concept that we can't necessarily transcend fully individually up to the next level. All of us have to upgrade, and so do the realms above and below us. Perhaps why darkness is leaking in. Absolutely.
That's what I
Absolutely.
feel.
You know, I talk about the law of attraction, and I do believe in the law of attraction. However, we are not the only things that are manifesting our reality.
Mm-hmm.
Mass consciousness also creates our reality. So, yes, as co-creators, we have a hand in it, but to just say, oh, so like the bad stuff that happens where people are saying, well, you know, you're sick because you know you're not doing it right, or no,
Right.
bullshit. Okay, I call BS to that kind of stuff.
So do
That's
I.
people that don't truly, in my opinion, understand what the law of attraction really is, and that we are in a simulation that depends on the whole of us as well. So when you see a news thing that goes out, and I talk about this in the Book of Secrets, when you see a news thing that goes out from like the Associated Press, and then every other news thing picks up and they almost say the identical words, it's because they are spinning a narrative in order to affect the narrative of our matrix.
Yeah.
All of it's a narrative. Every popular trend, every theme, everyone's jumping on the bandwagon for, every diverse to divide us thing, you know what I mean? All of that is tricks so we don't recognize our own power collectively.
Yes.
That's what I think the true level is of this world, is learning to come together and rise above our differences to unite that consciousness. I couldn't imagine that power.
Exactly.
That's why I don't remember where I said it, but I was thinking about it. If there was any type of mass level extinction, imagine. I'm like, ooh, now that stuff prophecies are written about. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
You guys continue for a minute. I'll be right back.
Okay.
So there are some people that I see, like Greg Locke, for example, and every time I see that man, he like gives me the heebie-jeebies, and I have a feeling I've dealt with him before because I see him with one, and then the other one was like of those Puritan hats on. Yeah, talk about, yeah, I see that too. Definitely.
And when you talk about like unconditional love and things like that and these concepts, it's very hard to look at people like that. It's very difficult to look at people that we perceive that have done really evil things and grasp a concept that's like you're supposed to love everybody, you know. And I think it's very tough, the human experience, but at a soul level, you know, I'm struggling back and forth with that concept. Like, so do we collectively, like one day, if we believe this incarnation theme, they will, you know, atone, they will learn, they will hopefully become a better soul or being.
That's why I think we chose the human experience, was because of the emotions. So that, because without the emotions, there's really no understanding. We can take in the information and the data or whatever, which is what the spirit does. It observes, right? So without the emotions, then we don't truly have understanding, and they're painful.
Absolutely. And sometimes we need a bad guy too.
Yes.
And I know not everyone wants to hear that, but we need people to play the roles of the bad ones too. Otherwise, how do we learn?
Exactly.
How do we know what not to do?
I've been saying this for years about Judas Iscariot.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for Judas Iscariot, Jesus couldn't have been the savior that he was. So wasn't Judas Iscariot, who played his role, just as much a savior? Because he had to play such a bad guy. And Jesus knew it, according to what we read out of the Bible. He told him these are the things that he was going to do. He knew he was going to do those, right? but he had a role to play, if you believe in that scenario. But it is like one of the oldest tales that we have.
So
Yeah.
I can say, Debbie, I feel like eventually everybody's going to get, I don't think anybody's truly going to be left behind forever. You know what I mean? I don't know. I've heard that theory before, and I've often pondered this myself. Is it a possibility? I think so. But I think ultimately, in the end, I feel like everybody's going to eventually reach where they need to be for their soul's ascension. Eventually. That comes from a lot of like works I've listened to, like people like Dolores Cannon and things that kind of have a certain study like basis. I'm not saying I am set on everything that some of these people talk about, but one reoccurring thing she talked about was that everyone would eventually ascend. And I feel like if we were like, I've had past lives where I was a really horrible person and I couldn't fathom that this life. You know, I'm
Right.
so empathetic and so compassionate and emotional. I'm like, it horrifies me to think I was a Roman torturing people like I was told.
But could you be? Right. I'm sorry. That's where you were going with it.
It is. Yep. Yep. But, you know, that would be an example of like even the bad ones get their lessons, get their, you know, atonements, and eventually answer for everything and take responsibility and accountability to ascend. And maybe they have to have a job to be there for others to pay that back in another life, or, you know, so on and so forth, if that's making sense.
I do not think that we ascend in love and light. We
No.
ascend in darkness and shadow.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
if
Yes.
you've ever tried to hold a music note, even if you're singing it or playing it, that frequency or that tune, it takes a certain level of skill even to hold that note. So
Yes.
people that believe that they're holding a certain frequency all the time, I'm calling bullshit.
This is the BS meter.
Yeah, because I know my frequency drops quite a few times in a day. Okay. I'm like, oh shit, I'm
just
How
gonna
many
roll with
times-
it. Okay, you stupid son of a, you know.
yeah. Oh, there goes my frequency. Yeah,
There's times I look back at my own insanity on my paths and things I thought but learned later. That maybe ain't the case, you know, and I'm laughing at myself. Because have you ever been pissed off and you wanted to just wring someone's neck, but you're like,
yeah.
honey,
That's humanity, right? So I mean, I think if you're bypassing the whole experience and gonna say, I'm up here.
Yeah.
Right.
And then there's
Are y'all?
Exactly. Well, my frequency just lowered because I'm judging your ass. I know that's bullshit. You know, right? Yeah.
And then you have the
play
aha moment. That's where the ascension comes in, because you go, oh damn.
Shit. Sorry, maybe you are.
My bad.
I couldn't play poker.
You know, be sitting over there going,
I'm like that's me in public, literally. If I'm in Walmart.
There's a rhythm and a pattern. Every moment is the Big Bang. A womb contracting, a breath, an epiphany, a birth, a death. I don't believe in a trap, but I believe we are in a pattern dance. I believe that also.
I love that. I love it.
Yeah.
Gosh, man, you are so good. I cannot wait until you get good internet. Okay,
Same.
you need to get good internet, sweetheart. So Emily, and hello, Emily. As above, so below, as within, so without, as the body, so the soul. A true example of the Hermetic principle, which feeds the concept of the golden dawn and the patterns. Golden ratio, yes.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
What do we got? I suspect we may be in some sort of holographic universe. Excuse me. And it was invaded by a bunch of dark energy buttholes like the Gnostics talk about. Yes.
Freaking archons, man.
The archons.
Oh, yeah.
I've had dreams. I had a dream I probably said it before. I know you guys know it, but I was in a sexual relationship with an archon, and they were controlling. It was a giant, and they were controlling, like the reality. And I'm sitting there trying to sweet talk. I'm like, come on, can't we just reveal? And he goes, well, if we do, then it's just going to cease to exist. So I'm just going to cancel it all. I'm like, well, let's not be rash here. Come on, let's just go do this.
Let's not be rash.
Exactly. Come on, babe.
I love that.
Forget about that. Just forget about it.
Rochelle was a Lilith in that dream.
Yes. So, anyways, let's talk about who we were. Okay.
Yes.
Hang on. Let me pull it up again. So what we essentially did, you guys, was we did the past life stuff, but we did it together. And it was a life that we had. It was the first life that we had together. Now, really, was it? Because if you're doing them all simultaneously, maybe
Right.
what I'm guessing is that was the life where we decided that we had work to do together. And that was the beginning of our origins. Okay.
Right.
That was the life where we said, okay, we're going to start taking care of some stuff.
Right.
So I'm waiting for it to load. Here we go. I've even got pictures and everything. So you don't. The archetypes. So my archetype was a siren. Carla's archetype was a wolf. Courtney's archetype was a star climber. And the threads that brought us together in this lifetime was mystery, evolution, and the sound of universe. And it was Courtney that drew all of these together. It says, so for the threads, the mystery, it says you three were bound by hidden knowledge and unseen currents. Mystery is the veil that you've agreed to pierce, whether that's through past life retrieval, true sidereal astrology, or soul contract work. Mystery suggests your connection is meant to uncover lost truths. And I mean, I guess we should maybe go into the other bit because it's going to start releasing some of the other stuff. It says some of the other stuff before. So the siren was is the voice that calls others across time and space. It's seductive, but not in a shallow way. Your energy magnetizes, awakens longings, and reminds others of something that they've forgotten. Carla, the wolf, is the guardian of the pack, the one who protects and guides. It's a fiercely loyal, deeply intuitive, and always aware of the rhythms of nature and community. And it says Carla's energy is the grounding force, the elder wisdom that ensures the group moves on. And in this life, Carla was an old man, the grandfather. I was a man, and I was considered like a friend. Okay. Courtney was a female, and she was considered sister or sibling to other. We all were like, Carla was a grandfather, I was a friend, and Courtney was the sibling. So we had somebody in general that was missing also that was part of that group. So we had to draw on that as well. But Courtney, the star climber, this is a celestial seeker archetype, and her cards show that as well as we go in further. The one who dares to reach beyond the limits of Earth. The star climber is the innovator and the dreamer, the one who's always stretching towards higher realm. And I can't say the other stuff because it talks about where we were at, what culture we were at. So I already pretty much talked about us being, what our roles were, but you'll understand more when you find out exactly when and where. Okay. So I was male. I was an influencer, a trendsetter, a content creator, follower, online influencer. Keep that in mind with when we were. Carla, you were a grandparent, you were male. You were a civil servant, a guardian of public good. Keep in mind, you were the wolf and the protector and the guardian, right? So it all fits into place. Public official, administrative duty, public administration. Courtney was a sibling. She was female. She was the only female of us. She was a genius, a bearer of gifts. And keep in mind, she was a star climber. So she had she was getting like downloads from the sky and from the stars and stuff. She had an extraordinary intellect. She had an innovative mind and exceptional ability. The missing person, the other relative, was a spiritual leader or coach. Somebody that trained and nurtured and developed a plan to encourage support. So the setting, the location. Does somebody else want to talk about the location and the time? Do you want me to just do it? Because I got it all here.
So around the time frame, Viking Age, right?
Yeah.
But, and it said like around 10 CE.
The 10th century.
10th century CE. And you can take it from there, darling. I have it written down, but I think you have more detail.
So I'm not going to get into showing all the cards. I could maybe in a later video we could show. There's just page and page and pages of journaling stuff. But so the location, so we know that it was Mexico was the location during the 10th century. So we did some research to find out who was in Mexico, the leading, because think about it. We were spiritual. We had a coach. I was an influencer among people. Courtney had a certain intellect that was like very gifted. So she was very treasured in that community. And Carla was a grandfather, somebody who upheld these laws and stuff, right? It was the Toltecs. We were among the Toltecs. And we got other stuff too. Let's see. So for questions, we got, what was the theme of this time period? And it said, in the Toltec context, this card screams ritual sacrifice because we got the Hanged Man. But not just literal. The Toltecs were deeply spiritual and philosophical people. And many rites were acts of willing surrender to higher cosmic forces. The Hanged Man evokes the image of the initiate or shaman who hangs between worlds, assessing divine gnosis through sacrifice and vision quests. So the Hermit this is the Toltec sage archetype. Think of the Tiamatini, the wise ones, the keepers of the sacred knowledge. This card reflects a time where oral tradition, internal mysticism, and deep personal spiritual journeys were honored. The Hermit seeks truth away from the crowd, echoing the path of the shamanic seer, retreating into caves, deserts, and sacred mountains, right? So then the next one that we got was the Hierophant. Spiritual authority, tradition. This is the Toltec priesthood or spiritual elite who upheld divine law. They led the ceremonies. So people, we were the ones that were facilitating, you know what I mean?
To appease our gods.
We were not. Okay. But it says that, let's see. I'm trying to see if I can do so what was the energy of the place? It was the Empress. How did the people treat each other? That was the Page of Cups. Justice was the government, what it was like, right? It says that to break the law, wait a minute. So this society was where laws were believed to be dictated by the gods and rulers were not above them. They were bound to them. Justice here reflects a system built on like divine order, astronomical cycles, and the spiritual equilibrium of the land. To break the law, you know, I missed the identity bit because that is important.
And the faith we drew, I thought that was really mind-blowing when you drew that card. It stuck out to us. And the faith, so we've discovered that about the other person too. And I love that photo.
That was like us. So it said the interpretation of the soul story, which is our soul story. This was a foundational life. The four of you were part of a soul contract to anchor a new wave of spiritual expression where sacred knowledge began moving outward from the temples into the community. This was a pivotal movement in the evolution of consciousness, and you were the messengers, guardians, and geniuses entrusted with its birth. So it says that the challenges that we faced was balancing tradition with innovation, protecting your genius, because people, they feared the kind of power and like ability that you had, because I'm guessing you were the person that said, okay, we need to look up to the stars. This is when we need to do these kind of things, right?
Yeah.
And Carla was somebody that was a law person who said, okay, it's this person, you know, meant to protect the people, but she also had to instill the laws, which meant possibly picking who was, you know, at that time going to have to be sacrificed. So this is what it said for me. Okay. You were a charismatic orator, a magnetic culture shaper, perhaps a young male apprentice or public storyteller who translated esoteric wisdom into popular language for the people. Your voice was respected. You set trends in thought, dress, and maybe even in ritual. The scribe who became a sensation. Yeah, like anybody would want to be that kind of a person, right? You were likely an initiate of a priesthood who chose the outer path, bringing the sacred to the people rather than staying cloistered. There may have been conflict between your desire to elevate society and the rigidity of the priest class. And then it said that I was some sort of divine speaker, obsidian eagle who brings new vision. Carla was an elder male figure in that life, a respected keeper of civic order, perhaps even a high-ranking ritual calendar keeper, judge or administrator of sacred ceremonies. Her soul anchored law, tradition, and protection. She was likely the one who ensured rituals were performed correctly, offerings made on time, and yeah, God, initiations upheld. What a job to have, Carla. Her presence was grounding. She was the pillar of sacred law. But see, again, if this was part of their like higher spiritual, they wanted
Right.
it was like an honor to be sacrificed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, pillar of sacred law, working hand in hand with the spiritual leaders and serving as a bridge between community needs and spiritual mandates. And it said that Carla was a codex writer and law bearer, keeper of the divine order. And then we get to Courtney, who was a gifted young woman, a prodigy, possibly considered a living avatar of divine inspiration, perhaps a clairvoyant, dream scribe, or a prophetic astronomer. Her insights were revered, and her mind may have been seen as otherworldly. So we see extraterrestrial connections, right? And she was likely hidden or protected, especially if she displayed psychic phenomenon from a young age. So you were kept away from like the general public. There was an ethereal beauty here. Her gifts were not always understood, and she may have felt alienated at times from those who couldn't match her frequency. Says that the female path of the West linked with Venus and prophecy, a gift bringer touched by divine spark. And then the fourth person, and this is interesting. The fourth soul was the glue of the group, a spiritual coach, mentor, and initiator. He trained you. Rochelle nurtured Courtney's gifts and worked in ritual partnership with Carla's administrative wisdom. He may have been Quetzalcoatl priest or a high initiate of the Feathered Serpent Mystery School. His energy is both lover and teacher, and he likely held emotional and spiritual bonds with all three of you. He saw the big picture and wove together your gifts toward a sacred mission. So he was the knower of things, the philosopher priest who brings wisdom to life. So I'm wondering who this fourth person is. We have to find this fourth person, and we need to do some reading on whether or not they are somebody that is, now here with us.
Yes. Because when you read for him and you got like secret and presence, and it was like a shadow.
Yes. It did say this was a foundational life. The four of you were, okay, I already read that. Your soul themes from that life, sacred expression, bringing divine truth into the world. Yeah. And yeah, I showed the picture and then the time frame and what it was like during that time. Lots of wars were happening during that time. So we had to fight for like our traditions to stay. The government was very justice driven. You know what I mean? You obey the laws or that's it. And then the faith. Yes, the faith, that was interesting. It was a secret faith. People were not allowed to know what it was. And the other card with it was presence card, and look at that. And it talked about Quetzalcoatl. Quetzalcoatl is also known as Enki, right? The feathered serpent.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Enki also being the devil in the Garden of Eden, right? Mm-hmm. And this presence clearly had big old ass horns, okay?
I love him.
So then we went on to talk about like our love. So my love, I was in an arranged marriage. Carla came up as slave or concubine. So I'm guessing that she had, because of her high standing, Carla had a slave or concubine. And Courtney's love was possessive love. And of course, we did another reading on personal stuff within each of our lives. We did that individually. The trauma. So the trauma in that life for me was slander. So somebody slandered me. That was the major trauma in my life. Carla's major trauma was guilty conscience. She felt bad because she wanted to serve her people, but she had to perform the duties, right? She had to uphold the law. And Courtney's trauma was betrayal. I wonder who betrayed her. Which we got to do some more stuff on that. I wonder if it was one of us that betrayed you.
I don't know. Because it's interesting. It named some things that I actually still struggle with, even in this lifetime. But I also feel like I've actively worked on.
Yeah. So the death. So my death was a public execution because they slandered me. So I got, okay. And Carla, she died of a natural disaster. So in that time, I'm thinking some sort of mudslide or anything that could have happened. I mean, that was all like jungle area, right? She could have been bit by a poisonous snake or something like that. And that could be considered something, and she was old when she died. And Courtney, you died of childbirth. So that betrayal, I'm guessing, is somebody that was not supposed to be with you because of being a priestess or something like that. And
hidden away.
Right. So I'm guessing perhaps that was the issue. You were not supposed to be messed with, and you were, and then you ended up dying in childbirth.
Yep.
And then the lessons, mine was greed. Carla's was self-expression because she really couldn't help the people. She wanted to, but she couldn't. And me, I wanted the power and I didn't have the power. right? I wasn't the main person. I was an influencer. And Courtney, your lesson was accountability for your role in the things that you did, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, we go further on. And I think, was that it? Oh, and I didn't do my message from my higher self. I haven't done that, or from that past life self.
I didn't either.
Wow. What do you guys
Pretty
think?
intense. It's pretty intense, and like, wow, it seems like some tough roles and lives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So let's see what people are saying. Run fast. Run away, guys. Interesting that the beginning of the name is Tiamat. Oh, it gave us all of our names too. I mean, it literally, what we did is we did these readings ourselves with tarot and stuff like that. And then we put it also, we got our own ideas, and then we also put it through our AI. And the AI just, I mean, channeled like our names and everything. It was like, you know, it was amazing. Guiding the youth and interpreting the divine. Yes. Out of all the past lives I've done, I've only been able to 100% identify someone as a specific person in history. My boyfriend was Demosthenes. I don't even know how to say that.
Wow.
Demosthenes in ancient Greece, a famous orator.
Mm-hmm.
Freaking, yeah, fantastic, freaking. So we're still looking at for the fourth person. My DNA showed I was sacrificed in Mexico. Twins.
Wow.
Huh.
Yeah. Wow.
Maybe you're the fourth. I've had a past life as Mesoamerican priestess of death around 1100 CE. Damn. Wow, sounds like history is repeating itself, but I was talking to you ladies during the last slide about Kiss Ecuador, and I had talked to Courtney before about her interest in Santa Muerte. There's also a serpent within the Cherokee mythology, and I believe there was something with Egyptian.
Oh yeah, they're everywhere. They're like in every.
Yeah, particularly if she was a sacred seer or oracle, perhaps that ties into the possessive love aspect. I feel that deeply. Exactly. Somebody, and see, here's the other thing. Could that have been the fourth person? Because you were the sibling of that fourth person. That fourth person was a male. And it said it could have been Quetzalcoatl himself. One of the other things said that.
Right.
So, meaning we could have been studying under Enki himself, or that feathered serpent who was an extraterrestrial, right?
And I think that was
Hybrid
mainly
program.
the secret. Yep.
Maybe. Perhaps the fourth person in the reading was supposed to guard her and did not do so, hence the betrayal and death. I think it was the fourth person that actually got her pregnant. Yep. That's what I think, because back in that day, when it came to bloodlines, they wanted to keep the bloodline as pure as possible. So that's why siblings, that's why you would see pharaohs would marry their sisters, yada, yada, yada. They kept it in the family. I think that's what happened. The fourth person was, yeah. Oh, I'm like, what is that all about? That's how to pronounce the name. What the hell are you talking about? I'm just a little slow. Hi there, Shelly Belly Beans. So do you guys have anything to add? Oh my gosh.
No, but do you guys see any correlations or anything in this life from that one at all? Like, could you identify anything in your lives right now?
I can, yeah.
Connect?
Everything that I do is because of sense of duty. Everything.
Yeah.
Well,
And it's a big lesson, honestly, in
And
this
your
lifetime.
and your self-expression, you
Mhm.
know. I mean, wow. But it's
and
weird that
having a lot. You guys haven't seen, but the video that I made that's coming out for finishing up all of my masculine work, the divine masculine, I talk about how I have been called greedy because of the things that I have and where I came from and judgment and stuff like that, right? And how it is very well, you'll see in the video, but that definitely correlates. Influencer,
right.
hello, we're all influencers in this life.
Mhm.
Also,
Mhm.
uh, projecting our beliefs and
Mhm.
spiritual beliefs, just
Yep.
like we did then.
Mhm.
Right. I
Yep.
find it interesting though and fascinating. Your theory with that in the fourth resonates, and my ancestry has like the royal bloodlines. Your guys' ancestry has some prominent
Friends.
political even, like figures. So I was thinking about that when you were explaining, and I was like, wow. So there's actually kind of some synchronicities there.
Well, let me just tell you this. So, um, the family name, my mother's maiden name is Ames, Ames. And through House of Names, if you go and check out houseofnames.com, you can find, um, far back where these names come from, because there was a time where people didn't really have like family names and stuff like that. They were given. So
Right.
the reason that we were given the name Ames was because we were friends of somebody higher up. And what was it that I was in that? I was a friend. That was what my role was. I was a friend and a siren, somebody who had influence, more or less. Now, when you know about the Ames line, Fisher Ames, we are descended from Fisher Ames and Nathaniel Ames, the first people to do almanacs, which also has to do with astrology in the United States.
Mhm.
And Fisher Ames was in politics. He was a Federalist. And his brother, Nathaniel Ames, was the opposite. So see, what was he? And they would fight. They would go back and forth. They were very political. As a matter of fact, Fisher Ames,
Nationalist? I don't know.
something like that. They were different political parties then, because this was in the 1700s. Yes. But he actually did, Fisher Ames did the eulogy at George Washington's funeral because they ran all in the same circles. They all knew, yes. And from Massachusetts. And that's just one family line. We also did some research, you and I, Courtney, not too long ago, and both the Ames and the Clark, which is my grandmother on my father's side, that was her maiden name, Ora Clark. Her family line on both sides, her family line and the Ames family line, which is in Ipswich and during the Salem trials. Ipswich and what was the other one? Another smaller town next to it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, and I
It
can't.
was
I remember I
uh,
remember the Ipswich.
the Ipswich one was Clark's, and there was more than one. And the Ames, Rebecca Ames, there was also more than one. She also had said that her son had been lured by the devil and all kinds of stuff. Gloucester, thank you, Debbie. Yes, Gloucester. So that's where she was from. So on both my mom's and my dad's side, we had witches that were accused. Yes.
I just got 444. And it's interesting because when we did the research on my grandfather's side, we also had family that was in Ipswich around the same time. The Ames and all of them who were granted the lands from the royal families.
Yep.
Well, that was around like Normandy, right?
Yes.
And I'm a descendant of William the Conqueror and such,
Right.
and that long line, friends, like the connections all through that.
Exactly. And that can be traced in our actual family lines.
Yes.
Yes. Through Ancestry, through House of Names. So check out your names, guys, through House of Names if you haven't already. So very interesting.
I love this. This was so good, you guys.
Mhm.
Like Selena was right. I do feel like we're like that Three of Cups energy that
Mhm.
coming, you know,
Yes.
far
There's a
past life
fourth.
stuff.
We're missing a fourth. There's somebody else. And that might be you, Selena, because you came into our lives like a whirlwind.
Oh,
Okay.
big time. Yeah.
But
Yes.
I think that there's more. I don't think that there's just 4.
I feel
Right?
that a little bit of that connection too with Jess. It's like
Jess,
our lives
yeah.
are freaking parallel big time.
Debbie's still from that area.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We found those
Amber,
ladies.
the way that Amber talks and the things. Yeah. I'm telling you, there's connections, ladies.
Found them for a reason.
Oh, yes.
Just
That's
There's
as I think
something
we have
there.
Ames in our family tree, the last name is so familiar. Oh my gosh, Jess.
yeah. Yeah, I do not doubt that at all. Mm-hmm.
And royalty runs in Carla's offspring also because their father was a Lancaster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Carla's last name is Lancaster because of her husband, late husband. Yeah.
I was a slut in one of my I was a male slut and I slept with all the women, and I'm pretty sure this had to have been you know,
Like a Don Juan
Britain. Yeah, I slept with the queen, and the king ordered
execution.
me to be murdered. Yeah, and he had me murdered. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's why I was like, man, I need to check and see if that was real. Yeah. Who's the slut that got murdered for sleeping with the queen?
You dirty
That
dog. I
really
love
makes you
it.
think of fuck around and find out, right?
yeah, I did, and yeah,
She did.
now I'm here. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Consequences, man.
I wonder if you had a bet going on with someone on the afterlife, like before you did that. Like, I bet you can't sleep with this or whatever, and then you
It's
like they
possible,
killed
but
you, and you
I
wake
was
up and you're
young.
like,
I was a young man too. I knew
Wow.
I was stupid because I remember I was hiding. I was hiding from the king. I was like, dang, why did I do that? And all I'm thinking is I'm like, I just wanted to hide, but I didn't really care that I did the bad deed. I'm like that. Like I knew in my head I'd do it again, but I was still afraid to die. I didn't want to die.
Yeah.
But I did.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in our past lives, most of the time we were just
Shitheads.
assholes.
I was a madame,
We were
apparently a bad Roman person, and I'm just like, damn, I give up. Like,
Well, I mean, a lot of you ladies, I think pretty much all you ladies that are here, you know about our other group, and I have a feeling that we all came together for a reason and
absolutely.
that we're all connected
Oh yeah.
in
Absolutely.
other ways.
It's
So,
like that thorn bush, and all of us are the
Mhm.
thorns of the blossom.
Yes. Yep.
I would be very curious to see, and we do have in October. Sorry, I'm kind of cryptic, but Selena's month is coming up, and that'll be an interesting month for us to look into that a little bit deeper. Selena, if you know what I mean. I don't want to give it away, but I mean, I probably just did. It's gonna be good, okay? It's gonna be good. Yes. So,
I can't wait.
really quick before we end this, we are going to be doing the alien stuff starting someday this week. either Wednesday or Thursday. We're not sure. We're going to be doing a live. We'll be talking about what we're going to be doing, but it's going to be more like a fun month because we're pretty much all spent. You guys are spent, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely feeling fatigued.
Mm-hmm.
Like YouTube,
Yes.
work,
Yes.
everything. Like,
Yes.
it's been a long journey, a beautiful one.
Yes. But good God.
Let's have a little fun.
Fun. Some alien fun.
Hell yeah. I'm not going to say aliens, but aliens.
It's aliens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I wish I got my little.
What was that?
Roses are red. I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
What did it say?
Roses are red. I'm going. That's how tired I am, guys.
Roses are red. I'm going to bed.
Yep. All of that.
I wear it to work.
I could go back
Yeah.
like 5 or 6 generations on my mom's side because both of my 5. I would be so surprised to find out if many of us are related in. Honestly, I'm not even joking. I seriously think so.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I could go back like 5 or 6 generations on my mom's side because both of my 5 times great grandparents immigrated to here from Ireland. Oh yeah, we have Ireland, we have Scotland.
Don't.
You don't? No Irish?
When I was young, they always told me, you're Irish, you're Irish. But when I did my and I actually had a genealogist help me too. And my whole line, no, none of that. We're actually very like Germanic, Scandinavian, and France, like that area.
My grandma always said German and Irish and Pennsylvania Dutch, which is
Right.
like German, right? But we have like very little Irish actually. We've got more Scottish, we've got more Norse, Netherlands and Denmark, Sweden, stuff like that. Lots of Germany, England, Wales. Yeah. And then I've got about 4% of unknown or 6% of unknown. It's a big amount of unknown.
That's
the alien. That.
Yeah.
Oh, I believe that. Wow.
Carla's and mine is not the same either. You would think so. And we both went through our stuff at the same time. Exactly. We did our stuff at the same time, and mine and Carla's DNA is different.
Yeah. Well, it's because
I've also seen
put their stuff
have
in
completely different DNA. Identical twins have different
That's true.
DNA. So
yeah.
How's that possible? Unless some of these companies are not.
Well, that's what they say. I've watched a couple, videos where they're doing the research where they put them in the different, and it'll come back different in every one.
That's true. Because we've had ours put at 2 different places. Ancestry and then Genome Link.
Yeah, Genome Link, something like that. Yeah.
It is Genome Link. Now, if you do like Ancestry or 23andMe, Genome Link is online, genomelink.com, I believe is what it's called. And you can actually give them the DNA information and they'll run it through their database for free. And it'll give you all the information also. And they're different, which is interesting.
See what Debbie put there? I'm telling you, because Fisher Ames was always lurking. He was lurking all the time. Yeah.
Pretty certain Courtney and I are related. And I'm pretty certain that because I did some research on the Clark. I'm sorry. I know you can't really see that stuff, right?
Okay.
Blood related, she said. Mennonites on my mom's side. Yeah. So the Pennsylvania Dutch, right?
Yeah.
They were like Mennonites. Oh, Carla. There was actually a guy that did mess around with the queen, and they ended up murdering the king, but I can't remember the name because they said the king was gay, and that's why. Oh, well, this is a little bit different.
Yeah, no, the king had me murdered.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm heaving on, maybe heavy on the Scottish, French. Yes, we have French too. English, Nordic blood, and then Portuguese, Haitian, and Cape Verdean. Wow. I think we're all like mutts. Like
Yeah.
57s.
Have to be. Yeah.
My girlfriend thought she was Italian and Cherokee, but turns out she's Dutch and German.
Right.
We also have Native American. We also have a little bit of African American.
I was just going to say Meacham.
Well, we are literally.
Yep.
Freaking
We have yes, Meachams that are in Decatur behind where I live. They are our direct ancestors and like third, fourth cousins, and they are African American. Yes.
Oh well, the Meachams are. That line is. There's also African American.
I'm gonna admit. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, what were you gonna say, Stevie?
I was gonna say I'm gonna admit something I'm a little embarrassed about. I mean, since we're talking about it, and guys, I can't help this. Okay, so don't pick on me. But besides from my biological father, like he was native, but on his mother's side, they were actually related to my mom. And so was my grandfather with my grandmother. They were distant cousins. So besides my biological father and my grandfather's Wales side,
that's like Charles
keeping that in the family, man. You know,
Charles Ames. I always wondered why my cousin never changed her last name. Remember that? You know?
Yeah. She married a third cousin?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean,
yeah,
it happened.
They were like four. They didn't know though at the time, and then
they knew. They were both famous
after.
See, yep. Silly Belly says it too.
Cousins. Yep. Heck yeah.
It happens. There's a
lot of people with last names that show up in the database that I'm related to, DNA related to.
Oh yeah.
5,000 that have shown up. All different names, ethnicities, and all that. So
yeah, and imagine the people that don't get their DNA tested.
Exactly. Because that's the thing that I have discovered. It does change. When you put your DNA into one of those things, it continues to change because as their database grows larger, the information that they have compiled grows larger. So things change. Yeah.
I mean, we're all related anyway, no sense. Like you take an ant farm, for example, like their little nest, say that's Earth and that's their world, and you got hundreds of little ants, but how do they procreate with, within that nest? Yeah. So in a way. Thank you, Amber.
Yeah.
I feel so exposed now, and I gotta blame myself.
Yeah, I think I heard that too.
Yes, 23andMe, I believe.
Yeah.
Now, Ames, you can also, it does track family lines or ancestry. I mean, it does track, like, you can do your family tree and all that through it.
Right.
But a lot of information can be gained from House of Names. So check that out, houseofnames.com, I believe it is. Tons of information in your names. So.
And
I
know, right?
It was. Yeah, a little tip too. I put my family tree in my AI. It'll give you information too.
Yes. As a matter of fact, that's why I was saying, come on, I did a little bit of research on some of the last names. Now if I can find it. Well, the Mary Magdalene bloodline.
I like what Jess said. Jess, yes, definitely. We, Rochelle and I have a brother too that my dad didn't claim, you know.
Oh.
So, and he was only, I think, maybe a year older than me or like right around the same age as me. So, and
wow.
he grew up in our hometown, and my mom was like, she was like, yeah, I know it's this kid here, but there's no, like, no one claimed him as, you know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think it's taken some of my messages. Have you noticed that it takes some of your messages, Sissy?
Oh, on Messenger?
On the Chat GPT.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so.
Oh. Maybe I'm just forgetting where I put it. I got to name that stuff better. I think I had Ames on my Avard side. Oh my gosh.
I believe it.
See, we're all related.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm a homegrown and a guild trust or Guildcrest. But Dawson was the name of the guy who raised me.
Lindy is absolutely right. Oh my goodness.
What?
It's hard to trace indigenous ancestry. Absolutely. You have to do it through your tribe or yeah, because those other ones, they're not as forthcoming.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to get information not long ago about mine, but they said I would have to go, I guess, in a meeting or something with them to determine if I could even get access, like as part of the tribe, because I came from my father's line, and they said they usually like go through the female.
Yeah. It's just, yep.
I think I don't know. There's just so much information. One of the things that I was checking was to see whether or not, because I knew that your family line, Courtney, was of royal blood. And so I was checking to see if, because ours was friend, and your forefather awarded land to our families, actually, two of our families, I believe. I got it confused. I thought it was the Ames, but it was actually the Clark that was from Somerset.
Okay. Wow.
Normandy, and fought with William the Conqueror.
Wow.
So I was asking whether or not there was any possible, like, family where they could be mixed.
Connection.
It said
Right.
yes. It said for a few of the family lines that it could have been, because they ran in the same circles, more or less. So
Right. Oh, I believe it.
our families probably did some nasty
You know
stuff
they were
together.
hooking up. You know they hooked up.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if this one here, you know, with Queens and stuff and her past lives.
Oh,
you know.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
I was probably getting it on all the time.
Love it.
They had lots of illegitimate children too. It's just they were not the legal
Right.
Yep. Yeah. Let's get it on.
Ow! All right. We are at an hour and 33 minutes. Thank you, ladies, everybody, for joining us. This was so much fun. We are going to be next Monday again. I think on Carla's channel. Yes.
Right
and on. I don't remember what it was. We've got a long list of different topics. Nope. Delete. Probably a solicitor or a bill collector. Either way, I don't want to talk to him. Okay.
Don't call me.
Exactly. Thank you, guys.
Yes, thank you.
Now, us as a group, we need to start cross-referencing our last names and see where in history we are. And I know that Selena, she also, I think she was picking up what I was laying down about her month and our lineages. So what's so funny, sis?
She says, yeah, they didn't have any Maury Povich back in the day. I love that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I'm excited to see your stuff, Lindy. I can't wait.
Yes.
Right on. Well, hi, Summer.
We're just getting ready to leave, sweetie. Better late than never, right? All right.
Love you
Thank you,
guys.
everyone, for spending this time with us.
Yes.
We'll see you soon. Love you. Bye, guys.